Welcome back. In Osceola County, a father and teenage son facing charges in a deadly crash that killed 3 children and their grandmother. This crash happened in 2023. Detectives say Richard Ferguson allegedly allowed his 15-year-old son behind the wheel without a driver's license. The teenager did turn himself in. He is now being held in juvenile custody. And joining us this morning to talk more about it is our good friend, defense attorney Whitney Bone. Great to have you, Whitney. How are you?
Good. Thanks for
being here. So first of all, it's such a sad story, and our prayers go out to this family because it's such a great loss. 3 children and a grandmother all died in this crash. But as far as the responsibility of the father is concerned, I think that's where people are really looking at this story in sort of an interesting light.
Right.
The father is charged with a crime of the son. Tell us a little bit about what that means.
Well, so this is becoming a phenomenon that's happening more and more. You're seeing this in terms of prosecutorial charging decisions being made where parents are being charged for, at best, what I might call questionable parenting decisions. Some might even say, you know, these are just really bad parenting decisions. In this situation, you know, it's interesting because at this point, the father has been arrested pursuant to a warrant that was obtained by law enforcement, but he hasn't been charged by prosecutors yet. So I'm going to be really interested to see what the state attorney's office here in the 9th Judicial Circuit in Kissimmee does with this, because I don't know, although in no way, shape, or form do I condone anybody letting their kids drive without a license. Like that's a no-no. That definitely, probably, even if I was a prosecutor, I would have something to say about that in terms of charging the father with a crime. I don't know, however, if there's enough here on these facts for them to be able to prove that the father should be criminally responsible for the deaths of these individuals. There has to be some nexus, as we call it in the law, or some causal link between the decision that the father made, the bad parenting decision, and then the deaths occurring. And I'm just not sure that's enough here.
So I find that to be really interesting. So would circumstances be different if the dad did not give this child permission to drive and he just took the car? Could the dad still be charged in that situation?
In that situation, I don't think we'd be looking at this. I don't even think the police would have obtained a warrant. What we've got in this situation, Danielle, you know, that makes it a little different, and I think it's kind of like on the line here, even from my perspective, is that the dad moved a car out of the driveway so that this 15-year-old could pull the Impala out that he ultimately got in the crash in and drive away with 3 other friends who were also underage in terms of being unlicensed. None of them had driver's licenses. Again, I'm not sure that I think legally this is enough to make the father responsible for charges of murder. I mean, it's not murder, but it's homicide. It's very serious punishments. The father's facing up to 60 years in prison. I think the takeaway here, and what everybody should take away from this is, you know, even if you trust your kid, you know, you have to be very careful about what you allow your children to do. This is a horrible tragedy, and it just feels like this could have been totally avoidable. You know, if dad just had been like, there's no way I'm letting you drive a car to go anywhere. You're 15 years old and you don't have a license.
Right. Whitney, you brought up something interesting in the beginning, and it's that this is sort of a trend we're seeing. And I take it back to the Michigan school shooting, in which both parents were charged with a crime that their son committed because of the gun and the parents buying the gun and that kind of thing. When you talk about this being a trend, do you think that we are starting to move in this way where parents are going to be held accountable for the actions of their kids?
We're seeing it more and more. Yeah. We saw it in Georgia last year when there was a school shooting there as well, where now there's a father who is charged with the crimes of his son for killing 4 people in a school shooting because he bought him an assault rifle. You know, so I think this is something we are going to see more and more. I'm not really sure what our local state attorney's office will do with this, because keep in mind, at this point, this father has just been arrested by law enforcement. There hasn't been a charging decision made by the state attorney's office. But I do think we're going to see more and more of this where, you know, there's really real criminal consequences that people are going to have to weigh in the balance of their parenting decisions in terms of what am I going to allow my child to do or not.
Wow. All right. Good information.
Thanks, Whitney.
Thank you,
Always great to have you.
We enjoy having you with us. Thank you.